You can't have children, right? So be grateful I'm giving you this child. If you can't have your own, at least contribute to society by raising one." I struggled to understand what was being said. Then, unbelievably, my sister had abandoned her own daughter who was suffering from a serious illness. Is this really what a biological parent would do? We will definitely make this child happy and make her regret abandoning her. My name is Claire Brown, and I'm 28 years old. I'm a housewife who has been married for 8 years. Initially, my in-laws often pressured us to have children quickly. While friends talked about the wonders of having children, they also mentioned the lack of freedom and the lack of sleep. However, they said the sacrifice was worth it because of the love for their children, but my husband and I found this unbearable. It's not that we hate children, we just find them challenging. That much is certain. After 8 years, it seems everyone has realized this, as no one brings it up anymore. I know it's selfish, but the truth is, there are too many things I want to do now, and I can't devote time to children. I think any child raised by such parents would feel the same way. I was adopted, so I don't cling to blood relations, and I've even thought that maybe adoption would be a good idea when I'm older. Robert, my husband, seems understanding and has said, "If you're blessed with a child, I'll take the lead in parenting and support you." It might be enviable for those who want children but can't have them, but for me, who was abandoned by my parents, irresponsibility is something I cannot accept. Looking at my friends' children who are now in elementary school or kindergarten, it's clear they are well educated, and I find well-behaved children adorable. Perhaps children born out of desire truly feel their parents' love. Of course, I consider the two who raised me as my real parents, and I'm grateful to them. I have an older sister by 2 years. Her name is Kim. My parents wanted siblings, but could only have one child, so they adopted me. At first, we got along well because we were young, but as I started to do better in school, she naturally began to hate me. She said, "If you weren't here, I wouldn't be compared, and all the money could have been spent on me alone." For the sake of my parents' honor, I think they were treating us equally, both love and money. Of course, they never compared us. It was just my sister feeling inferior on her own. Kim simply slacked off while I studied. That made her resentful when compared, and I was the one who was annoyed. Fed up with studying, my sister decided, "I'll become an internet idol," and bought a computer and equipment with our parents' money. However, she continued her usual lack of effort. It might seem easy to become successful by looking at others, but constant effort is needed. That short-sightedness was so typical of my sister. But Kim, who wasn't bad looking, had fans, including Jason, who contributed the most money to her and whom she married in a shotgun wedding. It seems she thought he was rich, but unfortunately he was in debt from contributing to her. Even our parents were puzzled, but they didn't want their grandchild to be unhappy, so they took on the debt and found him a job. The job paid well, so my sister and her husband's life stabilized, but Kim's sense of money didn't improve, and they couldn't save anything. One day, their daughter Nicole suddenly collapsed. Or rather, there had been signs, but they skimped on taking her to the hospital. When called by my sister, I rushed over and Nicole was lying there connected to tubes. Today, I was told the reason for being called is that apparently her kidneys aren't good, so they want to check if I'm a match. I would have refused if it were just for Kim, but I like Nicole. She's incredibly rational for a 7-year-old, and I thought she's the kind of daughter I'd like to have. Well, I didn't think I'd be a match, but the results showed that I am. "Hey, please, I'll definitely thank you, so save Nicole." At this time, I wanted to believe that Kim was probably sincere. After the surgery, Nicole was saved. However, the problem started here because Kim did not have insurance, so the cost was quite significant. Then I got another request for a consultation from Kim. "Hey, can you help with Nicole's medical expenses? I can't rely on my parents anymore, so I want this to be kept a secret." "Huh? Your husband, has a decent salary through my father's recommendation, right?" Kim laughed through her nose. "That salary? Impossible to save anything with that. If you spill the beans to our parents, Nicole will die, If they find out we've been squandering money thinking we have plenty, he'll be fired, and we'll be out on the streets. Is that what you want?" I was ready to agree, but it troubled me to see Nicole used as a shield. Fine, I'll lend you the money, but make sure to sign a promissory note. Using Nicole's life like this is despicable. Yeah, got it. Spare me the lecture. Kim came another day to sign the promissory note without even looking at its content. This is why she never saves anything. I was impressed that Nicole managed to grow up well despite such parents. Since then, I started visiting Nicole's hospital room more frequently. Was it because I donated my kidney or because I paid the money, even though it was a loan? No, it was because I felt sorry for Nicole. Nicole had mentioned that I visit more often than Kim, and lately she felt that Kim's gaze was cold. After a long treatment, Nicole ended up living in a wheelchair. Then on the day of her discharge, an incident occurred. I received a call from an unknown number, and since I was off that day, I answered. Hello?
Oh, hello. Is this Claire Brown? This is L.A. General Hospital.
That's the hospital where Nicole was admitted. Yes, thank you for everything. You have the right number.
Is that so? Thank you. I'm very sorry to bother you, but Nicole's expenses are outstanding, and today is her discharge day. There's no one to pick her up, and we can't reach her parents.
I felt a rush of heat and cold sweat. It felt like my heart was being squeezed. Before I knew it, I was on my way to the hospital. I got into a taxi and called Kim. Hello? It's not hello. Today is Nicole's discharge day, isn't it? I couldn't stay calm and shouted. Jeez, you're loud. I can hear ya. I don't want that child anymore, so I'm giving her to you. You don't have children, so it's perfect for you. You can't have children, right? So be grateful I'm giving her to you. If you can't have your own, at least contribute to society by raising one. I can't believe you. You're the worst. Just like my biological parents. You don't deserve to be a parent. And about the hospital expenses, what's that about? I could hear laughter over the phone. Sorry. I spent it. You know, when you get a large sum of money, you need to spend it on things you want to do. I've been wanting to do something lately. Oh, and don't bother telling Jason. He can't go against me. He got to marry the idol he was supporting, you know. He can't say no. Nicole is okay with it too. Anyway, we can't pay, so if you don't take her, she might as well go to the other world, right? I don't remember, but my biological parents were probably like this too. I thought this was a funeral battle for myself. A revenge against the parents who abandoned me. Above all, I couldn't bear to hand Nicole over to someone like Kim. Understood. I'll pay for the hospital and surgery bills, and Nicole will become my child. That can be the settlement, right? Really? I was worried about how to repay the borrowed money, but you'll pay that too? I made a total profit of $100,000. And to think I can reset my life from a daughter in a wheelchair? How lucky. I need to have another child and make sure they can support me in the future. I didn't want to talk anymore with Kim. I hung up, apologized profusely to the hospital, completed the payment, and chose special adoption to formally make Nicole my child, involving lawyers and Kim and her husband. Even though it was just a piece of paper, a normal adoption wouldn't sever the parental relationship between Kim and Nicole. I had a bad feeling and wanted to cut ties completely. Thankfully, the age limit for adoption was recently raised from under 6 to under 15 years old, allowing Nicole to officially become our child. I thought Robert would oppose it, but when I tentatively told him after the fact, he said,
"That's why I love you. I can't forgive Kim either. A family of 3 will definitely be fun."
Hearing that, I cried. I feel so fortunate to have married such a wonderful husband. Thus, Nicole officially became our child. Our parents also thought it was better for Nicole to be with us, considering rehabilitation and other factors. They said they would support us, and Kim seemed a bit frustrated by this. Well, probably because she thought it would be bad if the money issue was exposed. She thankfully didn't say anything. When I told Nicole honestly, she was surprisingly calm for a 7-year-old. I thought so. Mom and Dad didn't visit me at all. Now Claire is my mom, right? I'm not used to it yet, sorry. She accepted it like that, but I knew. She had been crying silently in bed. Before I took her in, I thought I had many things I wanted to do, but now Nicole has become my reason for living. Since I have been involved with her since her birth, albeit indirectly, it didn't take long to develop affection for her. Seeing a young child struggling and crying during rehabilitation makes you want to encourage them, even if they're not your biological child. Nicole is truly hardworking, finding what she can do despite her disability and always giving her all. I decided to forget about the money and support her as much as possible. With support from our parents, Nicole grew up healthily. Thanks to rehabilitation, her right leg started moving a bit. She still needs a wheelchair, but she can do more things now. When Nicole turned 9, "Mom, I want to be like this person." By the time Nicole started calling me Mom and Robert Dad comfortably, she showed me a video. It was of a blind pianist. "That's great, but it'll be tough, won't it? Don't you need a sense for it?" Nicole then opened a piano app on the tablet and effortlessly played the piece from the video. "I'm surprised. That's amazing. Did you practice a lot?" "Well, I just listened and remembered it. I kind of just understand it." Curious, I played a commercial jingle from the TV and asked her if she could play it. After hearing it just once, she played it effortlessly. "That's amazing. Maybe you have perfect pitch?" "Hey, Robert, look at this."
What's going on? It's rare to see Claire so excited.
We repeated the demonstration.
Alright, let's buy a grand piano. That means we need a bigger room. Maybe we should just build a house.
Over the next 2 years, Robert became an overly doting parent to Nicole. 5 years later, Kim, through my parents, tried to contact us. Kim and her husband came to the discussion. I left the kids with my parents and decided to talk with Robert in the living room of my childhood home. I didn't want them to know our current address. My parents waited in another room. "So, what do you want to talk about? After you moved and cut off all contact without saying anything? And what's with that figure? I barely recognize you." "Lots of things happened with my body, but that's not important, right?" I heard from my parents that Kim was in the middle of a divorce, apparently due to infidelity. She says she gained weight rapidly from binge eating and drinking after that. This time, Kim's husband, Jason, seemed to have been reduced to her errand boy. Jason looked regretful for not being able to see his daughter. They hadn't had any more children since then, which I thought was poetic justice. More than anything, if such irresponsible people kept having children, I would lose faith in humanity. Now I'm grateful for having Nicole given to us. "You're not going to start asking for money again, are you?" "Please, I need treatment. I've got diabetes because of binge drinking and overeating. I can't work and the treatment costs money. We may not be blood related, but we're still the only 2 sisters, right? Help me out." Kim apologizes with a gesture, as if she's saying sorry for being late. "First, return to $50,000. Kim tilts her head in confusion. "I figured you hadn't looked at the promissory note. You probably don't even have the document, do you?" "Huh? You wrote off that money, didn't you? That's dishonest." I was irritated, but decided to enlighten her. "I only wrote off the money I paid for your discharge from the hospital. I never said anything about the money I lent you. You're just mistaken. And since we couldn't find you, I just gave up, remember? I said I'd considered the hospital and surgery fees as severance. The money you squandered hasn't been paid, but now I can claim it." "Huh? I came here because I have no money, but even if you claim it, I won't pay." Kim raised her voice defiantly. Then the next moment, the door of the next room swung open with force. There stood Nicole, using a cane, but standing tall and proud, having grown into a stunningly beautiful woman, inheriting only Kim's good features. "Could it be Nicole? You've grown so much. Look, you can tell she's grown up to look just like me." "Huh? Who are you guys?" Nicole's disdainful gaze was as if she was looking at trash. "What kind of language is that? Have you been raised properly? Talking to your mother like that?" "Huh? My real mom is right here, and my dad is next to her." Nicole pointed at me and Robert, and I was on the verge of tears. I had become one of those parents who cried over their child. Besides, you have a debt of $50,000, and you're getting a divorce, right? How are you planning to raise Nicole, who still needs a wheelchair? "That's obviously Jason's job. He can't go against me." No, this woman must be stupid. Being in divorce negotiations is already going against her. Then Jason stood up abruptly.
"Enough is enough. I'm fed up. Sorry for everything, Claire. I'll definitely pay off the debt.
Jason, always compliant, was now red-faced and angry at Kim.
I'm going to get compensation from you and start over. The debt is just me covering for you. I don't want to burden Nicole anymore. Even if I'm a failed father, I have to clean up this mess. You've been calling me your sugar daddy behind my back, huh? Now you have 0 fans.
Huh? You're betraying me too? Kim was visibly shaken, her face turning bright red. Jason looked at us and said,
I'll contact you later,
before leaving. I don't sympathize with Jason, but I hope he doesn't get brainwashed again. By the way, our parents know about the debt this time. They said they absolutely don't want to see their daughter's downfall today, and they want to protect my son. Huh? I thought you couldn't have children? She had misunderstood again. Not wanting to have children and being unable to are completely different. We just chose not to have them intentionally. We were hesitant because of Nicole's treatment costs. But now Nicole doesn't have to worry about money. The house you're living in is owned by my father, but it's been gifted to Nicole, so the rent will go to her from now on. If you don't like it, you're free to leave. Huh? Why are you gifting it while she's still alive? She's a minor. You need a parent's consent. If Nicole is receiving it as her parent, I should be able to receive it too. I patiently explained the concept of special adoption to her, making it clear that she no longer had parental rights. In the end, Kim tried to act tough. Fine. Living with a disability? She won't be able to earn much anyway if you take her in. I silently showed her a video site. What's this? Why is Nicole in it? And why does it have so many views? Nicole has perfect pitch. You would have known if you had spent time with your daughter. A video of her playing an improvised piece as part of her rehab went viral. And now, with her beauty, she's a famous influencer. And don't bother trying to take advantage. This conversation is being recorded, and if anything happens, I'll release it. Kim hurried away, looking like she was fleeing. Since then, Jason has been begging my parents on his knees, asking for a loan because he's willing to work to death, likely due to the job they helped him get. My father looked into his eyes and decided to lend him the money, interest-free, with a promise of monthly repayments. According to my father, Jason will be okay now. Kim, now unable to rely on anyone and estranged, suffers from the severe pain of diabetes while on welfare. Her appearance has changed so much that not even her former fans from her net idol days would recognize her. I thought Nicole would be the end of my dreams, but now, thanks to her, my dreams have come true. That's because Nicole has since been recognized by various famous pianists and even featured on TV. Now she's not just known as a wheelchair pianist, but appreciated for her talent worldwide, receiving concert requests from all over. My dream was to travel the world, and as Nicole's manager, I support her fully. Robert stays in the US with our son, focusing on parenting. Nicole is so in demand that my income alone is enough to support us. Yet Nicole loves her brother dearly and often returns to the US to spend time with the family. Once out of the blue, Nicole said to me, "Thank you." What's wrong? Why so sudden? I owe my life to you, Mom. Your kidney is inside me. It makes me happy to know we'll never be apart. I, too, am truly grateful to have become Nicole's parent. The words Nicole spoke to Kim were the words I wish I could have said to my biological parents. Nicole's presence has given me a sense of fulfillment. If Kim hadn't become so twisted, perhaps things could have been different. I can tell without seeing them that my biological parents probably didn't lead a good life either. The music Nicole plays enriches the heart.